Welcome to Want More with Dr. Moore, the criminologist of the Bay, where we bring you stories and insights from the intersection of justice and society. I am your host, Dr. Talia Moore, and today we're going to talk about the city of Oakland being rocked by bombshell allegations lobbied against the city's former lead official. Sheng Thao was recalled as the mayor of Oakland in November of 2024. She is being indicted on federal allegations of corruption. Now, I do want to talk about Sheng Thao's mayor tenure. Even though it was a pretty short period of time, I do want to acknowledge, some of her accomplishments as far as unifying in some spaces the city. However, her tenure was really marked by a lot of controversy as well. When she first started in this position, she abruptly removed the chief of police at the time. And so that kind of set into motion some dissatisfaction with some of her decisions very early on in her tenureship as mayor. As you can imagine, that probably didn't bode well. The city started losing sports teams. And even though that was not largely her responsibility, it still fell underneath her tenure. The residents are still dealing with the impacts of those losses as well. So some challenges, nonetheless, that she assumed and also was definitely a part of very early on in her tenureship as mayor. So Sheng Thao, along with three other defendants, are being indicted in this case. Andre Jones, her significant other, David Doc Young, and his son Andy Hung are also being indicted in this case. The indictment alleges that in November 2022, and so this is prior to her becoming the mayor of Oakland, that she engaged in a contract with California Waste Solutions. And in this understanding, they would contribute financially towards some campaigns that were pretty much like smear campaigns for her competition. They uploaded up to $75,000 towards that effort. So that was the initial set of interactions and allegations that are being lobbied against her. And so that is one thing. The indictment also alleges that her significant other, Andre Jones, was provided up to $95,000 for performing work that never manifested. And so there's some gray area of concern, needless to say, around that. There are allegations that also speak to the fact that maybe her and the Young family worked to place someone in positions that would see favorable to the contracts that they were seeking, and also alleges that there was an extension of the contract of services. So these are some pretty serious allegations nonetheless. I do want to say that Sheng Thao actually did bail out. So she is released on bond after putting up $50,000. She did have to surrender her passport, agree not to leave the area, and avoid any contact or conversations with the Young family as well. So those are the conditions that Sheng Thao has to live within at this point. I do want to say that this is just an indictment, and I want to make that distinction clear because I think sometimes we hear it on the news. We've heard about the house being raided, and that happened in June of 2024. And so it just seems as if she did it, right? Because, you see it on TV, it appears to be true. And so just want to kind of color in the gray area around what an indictment actually looks like. So this is really a presentation of facts to a judge. This is not a jury trial. This will not be before a jury of her peers, at least not at this juncture of the case. The judge will review the evidence that the feds have thus far and make a determination if there's enough evidence to actually formally charge her. So remember, these are just allegations that are being lobbied against Sheng Thao and the three defendants in this case. If the judge reviews the information, or when the judge reviews the information, and if they were to say that there's enough information to continue, what could happen is at that time, defendants in the case could admit guilt. They could continue to stand 10 toes on their current proclamation of not guilt. The case could continue on to trial. So there's still some real possibilities. And that's just if the judge is in alignment with the allegations and is in support of them being escalated to formal charges. On the other end, the judge could say, hey, these allegations are baseless and dismiss the entire case. So just to give some perspective on where we are or where Sheng Thao and the defendants in this case are at this point, the judge is reviewing information to make a further determination if there is enough information to continue the case. So to be determined, right? I do want to say that federal indictments are not anything to play with. Obviously, if the federal government is coming in from our outside vantage point looking in, it looks guilty. But that, again, is not the case at this point. But it's not looking that great. And so these are very serious allegations. We will stay tuned to find out what happens as this case progresses. Please stay tuned for more updates as this case evolves, because I'm sure there will be more information and updates to follow. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Love to hear from you. I challenge each of you to take this information into your communities, whether it's through advocacy, volunteering, or simply educating yourself and those around you. Until next time, educate, empower, and enact the changes you want to see. Want more.